You're listening to the Happy Tracks podcast. In this episode, I share the 5 things that I made in my life that I feel the effects from every single day in a good way. I know this episode is going to inspire you, so stay tuned. Hey, I'm Taylor, founder of the travel blog Taylor's Tracks, personal development junkie, and pursuer of happiness. I help women have breakthrough experiences so that you can live a happier and healthier life that is so good you won't need a vacation from it. I believe that happiness is an inside job, so this podcast is dedicated to delivering weekly actionable tips that combine spirituality, personal development, and well-being practices that will help you live your best life, find pure joy every day, and realize your true power. Are you ready to meet your best self? Let's get started. This is the Happy Tracks podcast. Hello, lovelies. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic freaking day. And I'm back this week with an episode that's a little bit different. I'm sharing things that personally affected me in a big way, which I honestly and truly believe will help you and others in a big way as well. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sharing them. So we're going to keep it nice and short today. And my goal for this episode is really just to inspire you to maybe look at something a little bit different in your life, to go out and try one of these things, or to maybe at least get you thinking about it, or inspire you to see something else in your life that maybe you've been wanting to do in a good light, as something that you should go out and try. You should give it a chance instead of just sitting and wondering maybe what it could or couldn't do for you. So, the 5 things that had the biggest impact on my well-being, and well-being is a combination of your mental and physical health. It's overall how I feel, how you feel on a daily basis. So your well-being is so important. It affects how you live your life in every aspect. So these 5 things are a combination of different things. Some of them may surprise you. Some of them will make a lot of sense. So we'll dive in. The first thing that surprised me the most and had such a big freaking impact on my life was actually stopping birth control. And I'm not here to preach that everyone should stop taking birth control, but I do think it needs to be talked about more than a tiny bit more than it's being talked about right now, because it is, I'm not quite sure what it's like in Europe. Maybe it's not as bad as it is here in North America or other Western countries, but we're always told that birth control is something that we take to help our skin or all these other issues. Most of the time, birth control is prescribed. It's not actually for not getting pregnant. Yes, that helps. That's what it's designed for. But it's prescribed for so many other reasons. And I don't think that as a society, we question enough why we so eagerly reach for these pills and pop them into our bodies every single day. And my experience with birth control is my doctor at my college said, okay, here you go. This is the birth control that you're going on. She didn't ask me any questions about me or my health. She just gave me a set brand and said, go, this should help. That's probably because the school had or the doctor's office at the college had some, I don't know what word to call it, agreement with this company, this pharmaceutical company that sold this type of birth control. And every single woman who came and started birth control was put on this birth control. And this birth control was not right for me. I got depressed every single day, like clockwork at 7:30 p.m. And I was like, what's wrong with me? And you have to stay on it for 3 months. So for 3 months, I suddenly had all these hormones shifting in my body, and I wasn't happy at 7:30 every single day. And it was miserable. No one should have to feel like that. So I ended up going back, and then the doctor pulled out a sheet, had me fill out some questions, and then she asked me some additional questions and said, oh, no, I think you'd be better suited on this brand. Why is it only after I and many other women have to go through the so-called side effects of this drug that's supposed to be helping me before someone actually questions what may actually be right for me? And I'm not here to say that doctors are awful or anything. I'm just questioning, why don't we do this? And you have the power to go to your doctor and to question them. You have the right to do that. And I think we should do this more as a society, not just willingly take drugs here and there. I'm not against them. I believe that we do need them for certain things. And I wholeheartedly believe that, yes, there are lots of women out there who need birth control. But I went on it without question because it was so normalized, and I didn't know that I should even question it. I didn't know that all the years that I took it, I should have been wondering and paying more attention to how my body felt, both emotionally and physically. So when I started working with some coaches and really exploring myself more, I had 2 coaches in my first year of starting this whole spiritual personal development journey, and both of them suggested to me getting off of birth control. And I had found a great birth control. I was on the NuvaRing that I thought was awesome for me. And eventually I did listen to them. I talked to my doctor, and my doctor's response was basically, why would you go off? Well, why am I on it if I'm currently not sexually active, which I wasn't at the time? And what really was I using it for? Did I need to pump all these extra foreign hormones into my body that I wasn't naturally making myself? So I eventually did go off of it, and that's where the biggest shift came for me. Suddenly, my body had so many different sensations and feelings like inside. It's really hard to explain. My sex drive came out of nowhere, and I thought I had a healthy sex drive before, but so many things. It was like the feeling, not just the feeling, so many feelings felt like they were just suppressed. And the second I went off of birth control, well, not like the literal second, but really quickly, I felt this sudden boost and change in my body, mentally and physically. And let me tell you, it was so freaking magical. This is single-handedly the biggest and best thing I did for myself to help reconnect with my body more. Now, if you're not comfortable going off of birth control, obviously don't, but I do encourage you to think about it and to question if it is the right choice for you, because taking the birth control pill or the NuvaRing or whatever it is not the only way. Hormones are not the only way to not get pregnant. I'm all about a more natural route. That's not to say I don't take any supplements or medication or anything. Sometimes I'm just here to say, maybe question it, maybe talk to your doctor, maybe try and go off it for a bit and see if it really does change your body and how you feel. Because I think it's just really, really important to be our most natural selves at our core. The second thing that had a massive, massive change for me that I really wasn't expecting was doing yoga teacher training. Not just yoga. Practicing yoga was and still is very incredible for me. But the biggest change came from my yoga teacher training. And if you're sitting there like, well, I don't want to be a yoga teacher, Taylor, that's a bit of a tongue twister. That's okay. I didn't want to be either. I just went and did yoga teacher training because I wanted to deepen my practice. I wanted to understand a little bit more for myself and not always constantly rely on teachers to maybe say a different way to do a pose. And I could just do it myself, and I could just get to know my own body on a deeper level. And yeah, so obviously yoga teacher training had a massive change for me on my body as well and how I viewed it, because when you do your training, oh my God, like your body changes so quickly over 3 weeks, and just the things that it can do and how quickly it gets flexible and more strong is so incredible. And yoga teacher training doesn't just dive into yoga, the asanas, the actual physical part. That's just one practice of yoga, or one part of yoga that so many people in the Western world believe is the only part. There are actually 8 limbs, and the asanas is one. There is like meditation and all this inner work and stuff that a lot of the personal development and self-help world is teaching people, when really it's been a part of the yoga philosophy for so long. So I highly, highly recommend yoga teacher training for your body, for your mind, and for your soul, because it can have incredible impacts on your life. And if you're interested in doing yoga teacher training, right now is actually the cheapest time to do it, because you can do it online. Something that usually costs thousands of dollars, or quite often you have to travel to a different country or a city for, is available online. And you can still get your Yoga Alliance certification, because not every training is certified by this body that governs making sure that the training actually is really good and proper, and you're learning everything that you need to. So if you're interested in doing it online, you only have until the end of September to do it and still get the Yoga Alliance certification. So if you're interested, then I'm going to link an article that I have on the top ones that you can do around the world, and some of them are like so freaking affordable. It's crazy. And even where I did my training, I link as well. It was at Odyssey Movement in Canggu, Bali, and Erin, the teacher, is just absolutely incredible. And if you want to do it with her, you can do it 100% online, and you get an extra discount as well, just because you listen to this and you know me. So all the details are going to be in the article that I link into the show notes. The third thing that had a massive impact on my life was hiring a coach. Without a doubt, this was the biggest game changer for me. I hired my first and second coach in 2019, and just working with 2 incredible women to completely change my mindset, to completely shift my perspective. I, yes, probably would have been able to do that on my own, but I know it would have taken me years longer. So learning to reach out, to get help, to invest in myself, like you hear all these other people saying, is actually worth it. It is actually life-changing. And so often having someone to help give you an outside perspective, someone to help you get out of your own freaking head. Because if you're like me, you're in there constantly trying to criticize yourself or trying to talk yourself out of something, and though I don't do it all the time anymore, I did it a lot before I hired a coach. And afterwards, the difference in how I think, how positive versus how negative I am, because I used to be like the biggest negative Nancy in the world, is absolutely incredible. And I feel those changes still every single day. The fourth thing that I have done that has affected my well-being massively is working less. I work for myself. I have my blog, Taylor's Tracks. I have this podcast, and I started a coaching business as well. I do it all on my own. I have no VAs or anything, and I was able to work less. I started working smarter, not harder. I created a passive income through my travel blog, and once that was enough for me to live on, I slowed the fuck down. And when I slowed down, when I stopped working so much, when I gave myself the space and time to go explore other things that weren't just travel, because my blog is a travel blog, if you didn't know. That is now expanding into, I've got lots of self-love content on there right now that I'm working on. Lots of other fun personal development, spirituality stuff too. When I started exploring other avenues and didn't just focus everything on work and what my work was around, which at the time was travel, oh my God, it's like the stress, the anxiety faded away. Like, you would think I would become more anxious because I was working less than I should be working, but I trained myself to understand that working all the time and working really hard does not guarantee results. It does not guarantee income. It most certainly does not guarantee happiness. So working less, taking the time to step back and actually enjoy life, actually take the time to do the things that you want to do, like cook healthy meals or go for walks or go to that workout class or read that friggin' book that's been sitting on your shelf for months that you've been meaning to read. They have more, these things, these little things have more of an impact on your life than working does. So where are you working too much? If you don't work for yourself, can you ask your boss to have more time off? Can you put something together to show them that it's actually healthier and more beneficial, not just for you, but literally for everyone, to work less? There are companies figuring this out now, finally, talking about 3-4 day work weeks, talking about working from home where you can do things more at your own pace. And when you're done work, you're done. None of this, you have to work for 8 hours, because we all work at different speeds. So where in your life can you work less? Or where can you not take work home even? And the fifth and final thing that really had a big impact on my well-being was beginning to believe in a higher power. And this is something that comes when you are ready for it. I can't just sit here and tell you, oh, you have to believe in a higher power and everything's going to be magical, because you really got to believe that there's something else out there helping you and assisting you and guiding you and just being there for you. Knowing that I have this extra support, that I can't do anything wrong, that everything, even my so-called mistakes, are working out perfectly and working out for me, not to me. Knowing that there's something else out there really allowed me to lift a weight off of my shoulders and just be more relaxed and in tune and in alignment and just happy, really freaking happy with my life, which gave me more space to reach those higher vibration emotions like love and joy and bliss and wholeness and get into enlightenment. That one takes a while. But yeah, believing in a higher power, really diving into spirituality and placing the pressure not all on myself. Again, it helps with less stress, less anxiety. I feel those things very, very rarely now. They don't fully go away, but very, very rarely. So just to recap, everything that had absolutely massive impacts on my well-being that I think is really worth for you to take the time and think about and maybe explore is stopping birth control, taking yoga teacher training, hiring a coach, working less, and believing in a higher power. So if you're interested in getting some help and some direction and don't quite believe yet in a higher power, I am so happy to offer a one-off coaching session as well if weekly or bi-weekly doesn't work for you. If you're really invested in wanting to change your life and wanting to up-level and just wanting to feel good as much as possible, then just shoot me a DM and let me know that you'd like to work with me. It'd be an honor. As always, you can find more content and information on Instagram at Taylor's Tracks or online at taylorstracks.com. I am so grateful for your ongoing support, for you listening and reading. Taylor's Tracks, my blog, actually turned 5 years old on August 5th. So it's really, really special to me that I've been able to do this for so long, and it's because of people, my dear listeners and readers like you, that help make it possible for me. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And remember, you are in control of how you feel and how you react. Everything you do is a choice. So make the choices that are best for you always. Have a great, great day, and I will speak to you guys